Day 275, Return, Nehemiah 6-7, Esther 3-4, Proverbs 21 verses 1-4. Let's begin. Nehemiah 6:7. Now it happened that, when Sanballat, and Tobiah, and Geshem, and Arab, and our other enemies, had heard that I had built the wall, and that there was no interruption remaining in it, even though, at that time, I had not set up the double doors at the gates, Sanballat and Geshem sent to me, saying, Come, and let us strike a pact together in the villages, on the plain of Ono. But they were thinking that they would do me harm. Therefore I sent messengers to them, saying, I am doing a great work, and I cannot descend, lest perhaps it may be neglected when I go out and descend to you. Then they sent to me, with this same word 4 times. And I responded to them with the same word as before. And Sanballat sent his servant to me a 5th time, with the former word, and he had a letter in his hand written in this manner. It has been heard among the Gentiles, and Geshem has said it, that you and the Jews are planning to rebel, and because of this, you are building the wall and thinking to raise yourself as a king over them. For this reason, you also have stationed prophets, who preach about you in Jerusalem, saying, There is a king in Judea. But the king will hear about these words. Therefore come now, so that we may go to council together. And I sent to them, saying, There has been nothing done according to these words, which you have spoken. For you are inventing these things from your own heart. For all these men wish to frighten us, thinking that our hands would cease from the work, and that we would cease. For this reason, I strengthened my hands all the more. And I entered into the house of Shemaiah, the son of Delaiah, the son of Mehetabel, in secret. And he said, Let us consult together in the house of God, in the midst of the temple. And let us close the doors of the temple. For they will come to kill you, and they will arrive in the night to put you to death. And I said, How could anyone like me flee? And who like me should enter the temple, so that he may live? I will not enter. And I understood that God had not sent him, but he had spoken to me as if he were prophesying, and that Tobiah and Sanballat had hired him. For he had accepted money, so that I would be afraid, and would sin, and so that they would have some evil with which to rebuke me. Remember me, O Lord, because of Tobiah and Sanballat, because of their works of this kind. Then, too, Noadiah, a prophetess, and the rest of the prophets, would have made me afraid. Now the wall was completed on the 25th day of the month of Elul, in 52 days. Then it happened that, when all our enemies had heard of it, all the nations that were around us were afraid, and they were downcast within themselves. For they knew that this work had been accomplished by God. But also, in those days, many letters were being sent by the nobles of the Jews to Tobiah, and were arriving from Tobiah to them. For there were many in Judea who had sworn an oath to him, because he was the son-in-law of Shechaniah, the son of Ara, and because Jehohanan, his son, had married the daughter of Meshullam, the son of Berechiah. Moreover, they praised him before me, and they reported my words to him. And Tobiah sent letters, so that he might make me afraid. Then, after the wall was built, and I set up the double doors, and I enrolled the gatekeepers, and the singing men, and the Levites, I instructed Hanani, my brother, and Hananiah, the leader of the house of Jerusalem, for he seemed to be a truthful man, fearing God more than the others. And I said to them, Let not the gates of Jerusalem be opened until the sun is hot. And while they were standing there, the gates were closed and barred. And I stationed guards from the inhabitants of Jerusalem, each one in his turn, and each one opposite his own house. Now the city was great and very wide, and the people in its midst were few, and the houses were not yet built. But God had given to my heart, and I gathered the nobles, and the magistrates, and the common people, so that I might enroll them. And I found a book of the census of those who first went up, and in it there was found written, These are the sons of the province, who ascended from the captivity of the transmigration, those whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had taken away, and who returned into Jerusalem and Judea, each one to his own city. They arrived with Zerubbabel, Jeshua, Nehemiah, Azariah, Ramiah, Naamani, Mordecai, Bilshan, Mispereth, Bigvai, Nehem, Baanah. The number of the men of the people of Israel, The sons of Parash, 2172. The sons of Shephatiah, 372. The sons of Ara, 652. The sons of Pahath Moab of the sons of Jeshua and of Joab, 2818. The sons of Elam, 1254. The sons of Zadu, 845. The sons of Zakkai, 760. The sons of Binui, 648. The sons of Bibai, 628. The sons of Azgad, 2322. The sons of Adonikam, 667. The sons of Bigvai, 2067. The sons of Aden, 655. The sons of Ater, sons of Hezekiah, 98. The sons of Hazhum, 328. The sons of Bazai, 324. The sons of Hariph, 112. The sons of Gibeon, 95. The sons of Bethlehem and Netopha, 188. The men of Anathoth, 128. The men of Bethesmaveth, 42. The men of Kiriath-Jearim, Kephirah, and Beeroth, 743. The men of Ramah and Geba, 621. The men of Michmash, 122. The men of Bethel and Ai, 123. The men of the other Nebo, 52. The men of the other Elam, 1254. The sons of Haram, 320. The sons of Jericho, 345. The sons of Lod, Hadid, and Ono, 721. The sons of Sina, 3930. The priests, the sons of Jediah in the house of Jeshua, 973. The sons of Immer, 1052. The sons of Pashur, 1247. The sons of Haram, 1017. The Levites, the sons of Jeshua and Kadmiel, the son of Hodaviah, 74. The singing men. The sons of Asaph, 148. The gatekeepers, the sons of Shallum, the sons of Ater, the sons of Talmon, the sons of Akub, the sons of Hadattah, the sons of Shobai, 138. The temple servants, the sons of Ziha, the sons of Hasupha, the sons of Tabaoth. The sons of Kuras, the sons of Siaha, the sons of Paddan, the sons of Libana, the sons of Hagabah, the sons of Shalmai. The sons of Hanan, the sons of Giddel, the sons of Gahar. The sons of Rhea, the sons of Rezin, the sons of Nekoda. The sons of Gazam, the sons of Uzzah, the sons of Paseah. The sons of Besai, the sons of Munim, the sons of Nephusim. The sons of Bakbuk, the sons of Hakupha, the sons of Harhur. The sons of Bazluth, the sons of Mehida, the sons of Harsha. The sons of Barkos, the sons of Sisera, the sons of Tema. The sons of Neziah, the sons of Hatipha. The sons of the servants of Solomon, the sons of Sotai, the sons of Sophereth, the sons of Perida. The sons of Jala, the sons of Darkon, the sons of Giddel. The sons of Shephatiah, the sons of Hattil, the sons of Pachoreth, who was born from Hazabaim, the son of Ammon. All the temple servants, and the sons of the servants of Solomon, 392. Now these are the ones who ascended from Tel-Melah, Tel-Harsha, Cherub, Adon, and Immer, and they were not able to indicate the house of their fathers and their offspring, whether they were of Israel. The sons of Deliah, the sons of Tobiah, the sons of Nekoda, 642. And among the priests, the sons of Hobiah, the sons of Hakkoz, the sons of Barzillai, who took a wife from the daughters of Barzillai, a Gileadite, and he was called by their name. These sought their writing in the census, and they did not find it, and so they were cast out of the priesthood. And the cupbearer said to them that they should not eat from the Holy of Holies, until a priest would stand up who was learned and skillful. The entire multitude, which was like one man, was 42,360. Aside from their men and women servants, who were 7,337, and among them were singing men and singing women, 245. Their horses were 736, there were mules 245. Their camels were 435. Their donkeys were 6,720. Now several of the leaders of the families gave to the work. The cupbearer gave to the treasury 1,000 drachmas of gold, 50 bulls, and 530 priestly garments. And some of the leaders of the families gave to the treasury of the work 20,000 drachmas of gold, and 2,200 minas of silver. And what the remainder of the people gave was 20,000 drachmas of gold, and 2,000 minas of silver, and 67 priestly garments. Now the priests, and the Levites, and the gatekeepers, and the singing men, and the rest of the common people, and the temple servants, and all of Israel dwelt in their own cities. Esther 3:4. In the days of Artaxerxes, who reigned from India to Ethiopia over 127 provinces. When he sat on the throne of his kingdom, the city of Susa was the root of his kingdom. And so, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a great feast for all the leaders and his servants, for the most powerful among the Persians, and the distinguished among the Medes, and for the rulers of the provinces before him. So that he might show the glorious riches of his kingdom, as well as its greatness, and so boast of his power, for a long time, namely, 180 days. And when the days of the feast were nearly completed, he invited all the people, who had been found in Susa, from the greatest even to the least, and he commanded a feast to be prepared, for 7 days, in the court of the garden and the arboretum, which had been planted by the care and by the hand of the king. And in every direction, tents the color of the sky and of flax as well as hyacinth were hung up, suspended by cords of linen and even purple, which had been placed through rings of ivory and were held up with marble columns. The couches also, of gold and silver, had been arranged over a pavement of emerald green, bearing scattered jewels, which was decorated with a wonderful variety of images. Moreover, those who had been invited drank from golden cups, and dishes of foods were brought in one after another. Likewise, choice wine was presented in abundance, as was worthy of royal magnificence. Nor was anyone compelled to drink who was unwilling, but, just as the king had appointed, one of his nobles was set over each table, so that each one might select what he wanted. Likewise, Vashti the queen made a feast for the women, in the palace where King Artaxerxes was accustomed to stay the night. And so, on the 7th day, when the king was more cheerful, and, after excessive drinking, had become warmed with wine, he ordered Mehuman, and Biztha, and Harbona, and Bigtha, and Abagtha, and Zethar, and Cherkes, 7 eunuchs who served in his presence, to bring in Queen Vashti before the king, with the crown set upon her head, to show her beauty to the whole people and to the leaders, for she was very beautiful. She refused, and she showed contempt towards the king's command, which he had delivered to her by the eunuchs. Whereupon the king, being angry and inflamed with a very great fury, questioned the wise men, who according to royal custom were always near him, and all he did was by their counsel, who knew the laws as well as the judgments of their ancestors. But first and foremost were Karshina, and Shethar, and Admatha, and Tarshish, and Mirs, and Marsina, and Memucan, 7 rulers of the Persians as well as the Medes, who saw the face of the king and who were accustomed to sitting down first after him. As to what sentence should fall upon Vashti the queen, who had refused to do the commandment of King Artaxerxes, which he had delivered to her by the eunuchs. And Memucan answered, in the hearing of the king as well as the rulers, Queen Vashti has wounded not only the king, but also all the people and the leaders, who are in all the provinces of King Artaxerxes. For word about the queen will go out to all the women, so that they will show contempt for their husbands, and they will say, King Artaxerxes ordered that Queen Vashti should enter before him, and she would not. And so, by this example all the wives of the leaders of the Persians and the Medes will belittle the authority of their husbands. Therefore, the indignation of the king is just. If it pleases you, let an edict be sent out from your presence, and let it be written according to the law of the Persians and the Medes, which it is forbidden to disregard, that Vashti shall no longer enter before the king, but let another, who is better than her, receive her queenship. And let this be published in all the provinces of your empire, which is very wide, and let all wives, the greater as much as the lesser, give honor to their husbands. His counsel pleased the king and the rulers, and the king acted according to the counsel of Memucan. And he sent letters to all the provinces of his kingdom, so that every nation was able to hear and to read, in various languages and letters, that husbands are to be the greater rulers in their own houses, and that this should be published to every people. And so, after this had been carried out, and the indignation of King Artaxerxes had subsided, he remembered Vashti, and what she had done, and what had happened to her. And the servants of the king, and his ministers said, "Let young women be sought for the king, virgins and beautiful. And let investigators be sent throughout all the provinces for young women, beautiful and virgins. And let them bring them to the city of Susa, and deliver them to the house of the women under the hand of Haggai the eunuch, who is the overseer and keeper of the king's women. And let them receive feminine ornaments, and other things necessary for their use. And whoever among them all will please the king's eyes, let her reign instead of Vashti." The idea pleased the king, and so he ordered it to be done as they had suggested. There was a Jewish man in the city of Susa, by the name of Mordecai, son of Jair, son of Shimei, son of Kish, of the house of Benjamin, who had been carried away from Jerusalem at the time that Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon carried away Jeconiah king of Judah, who had raised his brother's daughter Hadassah, who by another name was called Esther. And she had lost both her parents. She was very beautiful, with a graceful appearance. Since her father and mother had both died, Mordecai adopted her as his own daughter. And when the king's command became very well known, in accordance with his command, many beautiful virgins were brought to Susa, and were delivered to Haggai the eunuch. Likewise Esther, along with the other young women, was delivered to him, to be protected with the assembled women. She was pleasing to him, and she found favor in his sight. And he commanded a eunuch to hasten the women's ornaments, and to deliver her share to her, along with 7 of the most beautiful young women of the king's house, so as to both adorn and honor her and her handmaids. She was not willing to reveal to him her people or her native land, for Mordecai had instructed her that she should keep silent about all these things. He went for a walk every day, in the front courtyard of the house in which the chosen virgins were kept, having concern for Esther's welfare and wanting to know what would happen to her. But when the time came for each in the line of young women to go in to the king, after everything had been completed concerning feminine grooming, the 12th month had been reached, to the extent that for 6 months they were anointed with oil of myrrh, and for another 6 months they used certain types of makeup and perfumes. And when they were going in to the king, whatever they requested to adorn themselves, they received, and when each was pleased with herself, having been prepared in the chamber of the women, she passed on to the king's chamber. And whoever entered at evening, departed in the morning, and then from there she was led to the second house, which was under the hand of Shashgaz the eunuch, who presided over the king's concubines. Nor did she have the power to return again to the king, unless the king desired it, and had summoned her by name. But, as the order continued to progress, the day arrived when Esther, the daughter of Abihail the brother of Mordecai, whom he had adopted as his daughter, was required to go in to the king. She did not seek feminine ornaments, except that whatever Haggai the eunuch and keeper of the virgins chose, he gave her to adorn her. For she was very attractive, and her incredible beauty made her appear gracious and amiable in the eyes of all. And so she was led to the chamber of King Artaxerxes, in the 10th month, which is called Tevath, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved her more than all the women, and she had favor and mercy in his eyes above all the women, and he set the royal crown on her head, and he made her queen instead of Vashti. And he ordered a magnificent feast to be prepared for all the rulers, and for his servants, because of the union and wedding of Esther. And he gave a holiday to all the provinces, and he bestowed gifts befitting of princely generosity. And when the virgins were sought for the second time and gathered together, Mordecai remained at the king's gate. Esther had not yet declared her native land and her people, according to his command. For whatever he instructed, Esther observed. And so she did all things as she had become accustomed in the time when he raised her from early childhood. Therefore, at that time, when Mordecai was staying at the king's gate, Bagatha and Thurah, 2 of the king's eunuchs, who were gatekeepers and who presided over the first entryway of the palace, were angry, and they decided to rise up against the king and kill him. But Mordecai did not keep this secret, and immediately he reported it to Queen Esther, and she reported it to the king in Mordecai's name, who had brought the matter to her. It was inquired into and discovered, and they were both hanged on a gallows. And it was committed to the histories and the chronicles which are delivered in the sight of the king. Proverbs 21 verses 1 through 4. Just as with the dividing of the waters, so also is the heart of the king in the hand of the Lord. He shall bend it whichever way he wills. Every way of a man seems right to himself, but the Lord weighs hearts. To do mercy and judgment is more pleasing to the Lord than sacrifices. To lift up the eyes is to enlarge the heart. The lamp of the impious is sin.